Alright, we're going to do 4 Pioneer decks today, so let's dive into the first one. Grixis Control. So, Grixis, for those maybe newer to Magic or haven't heard that term before, refers to the 3-color combination of blue, black, and red that we have here. So, this control deck has a number of threats in it to close the game. I actually think Bonecrusher Giant is super sweet in these red control decks in this format. Jeskai, Grixis, whatever the red colors you want to play. It's a card that's a 2-mana removal spell, which is a little bit on the expensive side, but it's a very reasonable threat as well, and a 4-3 closes the game out very quickly once you've cleaned up the board, which is nice. Murderous Rider and Brazen Borrower are also utility cards that double as threat, which are great, and then Murderous Rider in conjunction with Kalitas give us a reasonable amount of lifelink once we're looking to stabilize. For our card advantage at the top end, we got 3 copies of Dig Through Time here. Very powerful draw spell. Let's just look at the top 7 cards of our deck and grab 2 of them. And then notably, because this is an instant, Torrential Gearhulk can flash back Dig Through Time, which is excellent. We've also got a few copies of Kolaghan's Command here, which is good against the various vehicles that are running around in the format, but this can also recover things like Bonecrusher Giant and Torrential Gearhulk back from our discard pile, which is sweet. So let's go ahead and dive on into a league with this one and see how it goes. Make sure I have the right deck. I do not have the right deck. This is the second deck today. Where's the drop button? You get your money back when you drop on this program because this is Magic's premier play client. So unlike Arena, where when you don't play a match you just lose your 1,000 gold, on Magic Online it gives you your money back. Yeah, it is worth noting that Torrential Gearhulk cannot flash back our adventure creatures. One thing, it might almost be right to play some Hero's Downfall or Vraska Contempt in this deck because of Torrential Gearhulk, but I wasn't sure, so I didn't go that deep. So this hand's definitely a keep. And the question is, what do I want to do on 1? Turn 1, Port Town, untapped, pass. Alright, I'm going to shock this in so we can try it. I think if I would have drawn a 3rd land here, I would have put this into play tap to wait to opt, but since I just want to give myself the best chance to hit my 3rd land on 3. It is, Gork. Since you said that was okay for your submission, I put a bunch of dealer choice points at it because I wanted to play it too. So it's in, update, the list is in the deck queue. Sweet. Okay, spirits. Sounds good. What else you got? You have a bunch of things that don't die to Kolaghan's Command. That's sad. Hey, thanks for the 3 months, Pipster. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I almost want to take Supreme Phantom here, just because it's the more expensive of these cards, or the inverse that, the cheaper of these cards. Am I in for an untapped land? I am, actually. Let's top that. That lets me play Murderous Rider next turn without taking any damage. It's going well, Henrik. Yeah, Borrower dies to K command. Sorry, I meant their good cards didn't die to K command. There's not playing the Eagle out. Interesting. I'm gonna do this and pass. I might have been right to go tap land Thought Erasure there. I don't know. If they end step Brazen Borrower, I want to K command it. Oh, the Eagle's a spirit, so it has flash. Duh. That makes sense. But, like, they miss a point of damage doing that, right? So, like, they're just, like, playing around a sweeper, but they miss a point of damage. Feels weird. You're right, it's a spirit and has flash, but, like, they could have done, that's a good observation. So, like, why would they miss a point of damage? Perhaps they drew Spellcaller. That's a good takeaway. I think that is very astute. That's actually a phenomenal draw. Let's lead on this. See if they tell us to go quell ourselves. Double Borrower, sure. I think I'm going to bin that. I don't know that I have time to dick around with that. I guess it like hits me towards lands for this. Just going to Fatal Push this Rattle Chains now so I don't get caught with my hand in the cookie jar. I think I'm just passing. I think there's merit. Some remember Fable Passage to proc push. Maybe, I don't know, to like work passage into the mana base, you have to include. I'm gonna kill this and make them discard a card here. You discard, kill you. I think, like, the tap lands are awkward, and, like, you have to play more basics. I mean, obviously, Thought Erasure is less efficient than Inquisition, but I think it's also fine that it's less efficient, because, like, this format's less brutal in Modern. So they've been Dispel Pierce there. So they have Brazen Borrower and 2 cards I don't know now. I'm just gonna pass here. I'm not playing Kalitas because they have 5s. So they just petty theft Kalitas. This is like not great. It's a good draw. I feel like this waiting game favors us. Are you ready? Bonecrusher's ready. It only gives a spirit hexproof, right? Alright, kill both your things. Yeah, also targeting itself because it only targets spirits. So really just want to draw that 6th land next turn. So we can like double 3 or like have Torrential Gearhulk available to us. What is your quest? We seek to crush. Sick. Go. Morning, JW. What's been my favorite Pioneer deck so far? The blue-green Eldrazi deck that we've played a number of times is the one I've been enjoying the most so far. For sure. Opponent's had enough. We got like 2 cards in our hand and 3 cards over there. Mystic Dispute sounds great here. Extra Rider's probably fine. I don't have a 4th Fatal Push on my board. That might be a mistake. Kalitas seems too slow and clunky here. Brazen Borrower blocks really elegantly, so that seems fine. Yeah, I think Soot's fine. What do I wanna trim here? Yeah, opponent correctly identifying that we were solidly into garbage time. Borrower doesn't block. It blocks flying creatures, which is the entirety of their deck. I think I'm going to trim the Thought Erasures here. I think I just want, like, well, it's, like, kind of nice to poke through their counter spells that they're going to have some number of. I think I'd rather just have more cards that play to the board. So let's just maximize that. Nah, I think Dreadbore is important. I think this is just, like, a kill all their things matchup, so I just want, like, all Doomblades on deck. No, I think Thoughtseize effects are awful in every format they're legal. Standard, Pioneer, Modern. I would in general greatly prefer if these types of effects just didn't exist in Magic. Whenever I say that, people are always like, well, the things they're preventing are more offensive than they are. It's like, well, just don't print those things or ban them if they already exist. In my opinion, that would be ideal. We actually played a Jund Pyromancer deck on stream. You can find that on my website, my YouTube channel. If you want my thoughts on playing that style of deck, definitely check that out. Always do a wrap-up section at the end like everything else. Check out some of our options here. And actually, with this dig through time in my hand, I think opt into opt is fine here. Just like fill the bin so we can cast this. Yeah, I think in terms of like the amount of player agency they produce, discard spells tend to be, or counter spells tend to be a lot more ideal than discard spells. So they played their land for the turn. Let's see what kind of protection they have here. If they play like a Spell Queller, we're just going to opt, and then on our turn we'll Dreadbore the Spell Queller, and then Fatal Push the Rattle Chains off of that. If they have a second Rattle Chains, I get into a little bit of trouble here. Huh? Take the land. Why not counter with Drown? Because Drown in the Loch looks at my opponent's graveyard, not my graveyard. So I can't Drown in the Loch this Rattle Chains. Because their graveyard only has one card in it. That's why you only play like 2 copies of this card at most. I shocked this in to play around Spell Pierce here. What about Rattle Chains makes it seem legendary? Exactly. Morning Moonlight. You might counter the Obsession, because I don't really care if the Obsession draws a card. Hey, thanks for the entire year, Bus Driver. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. So here's another way to think about it for people that don't understand why I didn't counter the Curious Obsession. If I counter the Curious Obsession, I've spent a card to counter their card. So that's a 1-for-1. If I don't counter it, they get to draw a card with it, but then I don't have to spend a card to answer it. So it's still a 1-for-1 regardless of how I cut that. So I'd rather just save my extra card. I think my cards are more important than their cards. So if they're up a card but I'm also up a card, I think that's a winning exchange for me. Because I need to kill the Rattle Chains regardless. So if I'm spending a card to kill the Rattle Chains, I'm getting the enchantment on it for free anyways. So it doesn't really matter if that enchantment draws them a singular card. Is Kiesis any good without Oath? So yeah, I mean, I think like the standard deck still has some really solid upgrades in it. Opponent seems to be flooding. I mean, are they? They've drawn 6 lands not in 15 cards. 7 lands in 15 cards. About 50% is probably about the norm. Probably not too many standard deviations from the mean. Competitive mill. Competitive mill tends to be a bit of an oxymoron. Why not dig at their end step? Because I want to give my dig the best chance to resolve rather than playing it into a counterspell. And like, my hand is full of answers, and I really don't feel like I'm under any sort of pressure to like make my thing happen anytime soon. Am I just passing here? I'm just gonna pass. Well, probably, now that I have a second dig, we'll probably dig at their end step. Yeah, the adventure creatures are very, very good. Huh? So do I want to just like Gearhulk kill this? I probably just want to dig, huh? They're paying 5 mana to draw 1 card. I'm paying 3 to like look at my top 7. Is this basically garbage time? Yeah, I think so. I think with 2 digs, we're probably firmly into garbage time. I'm going to dispute their dispute here, because I'm just up so much on cards that I just want to like grab a removal spell and play it this turn. So obviously I could just pay 3 for this, but I think it's better to just like dispute and then be able to cast more spells here. Garbage time is a sports ball reference that means the game is effectively over, but it's not ending for a while. So like, when control decks like this have effectively won the game, they don't actually reduce your life total to 0. So we're going to sit here and keep taking turns, but like, my opponent's like far enough behind at this point that they really can't catch back up realistically. And I'm sure now that I said that and explained it, we're about to get dumpstered by some unreasonable series of draws, but generally speaking, I think we're super ahead from a position like this. I tapped my lands wrong. Should have left a red up. Hey, I have the fire. Have a sword to go with your shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Been a good year. Thanks for what you do. Wish me luck at my first Pro Tour this weekend. First Mythic Championship. Excuse me. Branding. Good luck this weekend. May your geese be played on the first turn. It's the last Mythic Championship too, right? Next year they're player store events. Concedes after we cast the 2 cards that are on adventures, sure. That felt pretty good. Honestly, and as much as this makes me sad to say it, I think there's a very real chance that these Gearhulks are just wholly unnecessary in this deck. And just dig through times enough top end and Kolaghan's command that we don't need the 6 mana card advantage. I just really wanted to Gearhulk people today, but I would be surprised if they feel necessary. We've not played a PO deck in Pioneer. As always, you can find everything I've streamed on my website and my YouTube channel. That's not very cash money of you, yeah. It's one of your best ways to contest a large creature. Is it? I have Dreadbore and Drown and Murderous Rider. So I don't think I believe you. Don't talk about my Gearhulks this way. Daddy loves you, Gearhulk. Don't listen to the bad man. You're necessary to me, Mr. Gearhulk. I'll always love you. Electrostatic Pummeler. Alright, well, let's just take the threats, huh? I'm gonna bin that. What'd you consider alongside Gearhulk when you're building? I don't know. I need to feel what the threat density of this deck. I need to sit and see what the threat density of this deck feels like. So my opponent's deck is utilizing the energy mechanic. The energy mechanic, for those not familiar, is a counter that sits on your individual player, and then your creatures give you various things that you can. Creatures and other cards give you things that you can spend with that energy. So Voltaic Brawler, Aether Hub, these are all things that allow them to gain and spend energy. You can't interact with energy. That's not true. You couldn't interact with energy in Standard, but you could definitely interact with energy in this format. Yeah, I'm in for a land. Hey, Dr. Lawson. Thanks for the Prime support. Welcome to Oakland. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. I appreciate you keeping me around. Why are Magic players salty when they lose to Mill? They're salty when they lose to Mill because there's a lot of Magic players that get upset when they lose to decks that aren't tiered. So when I dig here, I want to prioritize leaving instants in my bin for Gearhulk and leaving creatures in my bin for Kolaghan's command. My sorceries don't do anything. That is, you could say we were tripping through time with a hit like that. That's something. Well, at least our deck doesn't shuffle, right? So that's 5 lands away to the bottom. Yeah, a lot of people have a hard time divorcing themselves from the idea of that, when they mill a card you needed, it's no different than if you never drew that card. Alright, so I have to decide which of my things I want to be countered. So they have a Blossoming Defense here. So I can actually just clean them out, right? So you discard Shatter Your Artifact. And then they'll Blossoming Defense this, and in response, the Blossoming Defense will Murderous Rider it. Yay, the stack. And then we'll get the Collision Colossus out of their hand with the K commands here. Curious about the lack of planeswalkers. Haven't seen that in Build a Grixis before. Can you explain your reasoning? Can you tell me why I need planeswalkers? Can you tell me what planeswalkers are useful in this deck that I'm not playing? That would be my primary question to you, rather than me justifying my decision. Can you tell me why you think it's wrong? Why are planeswalkers worth playing? I think I want the extra Murderous Rider here, just like all Doomblades on deck. Discard spells seem excellent because they have a lot of various protection spells. Ritual of Soot clears through their protection spells. Kalitas is probably kind of slow and clunky here. I think Oko would make the deck a lot better. You're probably not wrong. From Bonecrusher, a lot of their things probably don't die to this. I guess it kills Voltaic Brawler. This kills Pummeler and their Gearhulks. Regardless of the win, was not aligned. Drawn in the Loch, the Blossoming Defense to make the discard. The discard from the K command still happens, Draka, so the discard's targeting my opponent. So they still discard their card there. First time using Twitch, and I'm getting a severe echo. Is there something I'm doing wrong? Do you have the tab open twice? Do you have my website open? If you have the front page of my website open, my stream's embedded there. Maybe Gifted Aetherborn is good. Like, Death Touch seems real good. Let's try this. I submitted 61, whatever. It'll be perfect. I don't think Mission Briefing's a particularly playable card. I think Mission Briefing's pretty slow and clunky. All right, I guess. Let's draw some spells, chat. No worries, Lawson. You are not the first to do that, and I doubt you will be the last. Sick. Good turn 2 play here. Chandra. Yeah, let's get rid of her. I think Chandra Torch of Defiance is like if you were to ask me to make like power level rankings of all the planeswalkers in this format, I think Chandra Torch of Defiance would be number 2. This card like kills your opponent relatively quickly. It generates card advantage. I think she's pretty reasonable. Has an ultimate that wins the game. Yeah, I definitely think Chandra would be an A-tier planeswalker. She's real good. So this thing makes 3 energy, and they can pay 3 to double its power. They have a Blossoming Defense in hand currently. So their deck is basically looking to play pump spells to pump this up, and then use its energy to double its power and toughness a couple of times. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Chandra Torch of Defiance is one of the best designed planeswalkers. Gifted Aetherborn, punching the clock here. Wish I had K-Command last turn. I might have been right to play Fatal Push there. Alright, so I'm going to go destroy this, shatter this, or shock this. It also might have been right to do this on my turn. Grixis control is unplayable in this format. Just in case anybody was wondering, this archetype's unplayable. In case anybody was wondering if this deck's playable or not. Thanks for the 25 months, Team Flogger. Welcome back. Thanks for the 20 months to Mox. Yeah, I don't know what I want to play. I think playing decks that get interacted with via Veil of Summer is currently a huge mistake in this format. I think if you're looking to come at this format from a purely competitive perspective, I would highly recommend not playing decks that get hosed by Veil of Summer. That was a good draw. No, this is game 2. Okay, so like that's reasonable, right? All right, they 2-for-1 to us, we 2-for-1 them back. You know, fair's fair. Swift, thanks for re-upping for the 2nd month. Welcome back. I appreciate you keeping me around. Brutal. I guess we're in an okay spot. They shoot this. I Fatal Push the Pummeler. Do I Fatal Push Pummeler or do I Fatal Push Brawler? My Dig's probably going to find a removal spell next turn, right? Famous last words. I'm going to push the Brawler. Keep my health total high while they have Chandra in play. I think I want to keep a K-Command in here. Nah, I boarded out one of my Gearhulks. I'm just going to get rid of all of them. If I hit a Gearhulk, I can do this. Are those good? So, I think we're a little bit behind here still because they're going to get to draw 2 cards next turn, but we're probably pretty close to parity. They get 2 randoms to our 1 random, but our average card quality is probably a scotch higher than theirs. That was just a land. I didn't kill the Chandra because if I kill the Chandra, I can't kill the thing, and I'm literally dead on board to the Hepshed Oasis plus their energy. If I don't kill their thing. So I didn't kill the Chandra because I would lose the game. I decided losing the game seemed like a bad line. Oh, see, this is why the details matter. All right, take a 10-minute break. I could have shocked the Chandra. Definitely should have shocked the Chandra. Next time, explain yourself. Instead of just yelling at me. So they didn't take the obviously good line because I missed it. Woof. That's real unfortunate. The fact that this card can't block non-flyers might make it a non-starter in this deck. It might make this card unplayable. Probably dead here. All right, one Gifted Aetherborn, please. Ritual of Soot land. All right. You can find an Elves list that we played on my website and my YouTube channel. Gearhulk. Solidly, technically not dead. Yep. We're only mostly dead. All right. Oh, I should do this in the other order, right? Because if they have a protection spell, I just die. Because I can't respond with Dreadbore. I don't plan to do... Actually, I think if you're the same person that commented on my YouTube channel, I responded to that comment last night. I don't think I'm planning to do any, like, full deck primers for Pioneer until like next year. I might do some like loose summaries, but like full in-out sideboard guide type stuff seems like kind of a waste to be doing until after we know what the ban list is going to look like. All right, tempo. Oh, we're halfway there. Oh, living on a prayer. Take my hand. I boarded my Kalitas out. Oh, do 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 do. Sheltered Thicket seems real loose in their deck. Tap lands in your aggro deck are not great. Gotta draw Doomblade. Gotta draw Doomblade. Alright, I mean, that qualifies, right? Drowned in the Loch is just like your best card you can draw late. So if they don't draw removal, burn spell, or haste creature, they're dead here. Survey says. That was sick. Alright, Brazen Borrower. I wasn't sure where you were supposed to go. If you're supposed to be in my deck. You get to stay for now. You get to stay for now, little borrower. Pivot. Alright, Veil of Summer 0, Grixis 1. We're 2-0-4-0, chat. Haven't lost a game. We broke it. What's the best deck in Pioneer right here? We should stop playing now so we don't skew our stuff. Is this dig through time card good? There might be something to this dig through time card. All right, needs a blue land, but has some castable spells if we miss. No worries, Lawson. I just wanted to see if you were the same person or not. No worries either way. I do read basically every YouTube comment. And by basically every main, I mean everyone. Because I moderate my YouTube comments. Dig seems like an expensive drawn from Dreams, literally unplayable. I'm not sure having that many adventure creatures is right for Dig, despite being nice. Nah, I think you're silly. I think having that many adventure creatures is great. I think you're focusing too. So what you're doing there with your statement is you are trying to maximize a card that's already busted. So like, I don't need to spend effort maximizing my dig through times because dig through time's already absurd. So just like play good cards even if they aren't perfect together because you're gonna win because you just have more good cards than your opponent on average. There was a Seasons Pass deck that got top 16 at the Nerd Rage event. Seemed pretty reasonable. I say, what? What? Yeah, yup. Man, it's crazy the cards that become playable when Lightning Bolt's just not a removal spell in the format. It really is. Like, this card could never see play in Modern because, like, you just lose so much tempo when it gets Lightning Bolted. But, like, in this format, that's not a thing. Brutal. I think we're dead. I don't think we can afford to stumble here. I guess I can opt into a removal spell. Instead of me telling you you're wrong, Zothar, can you explain to me why that's better? Yep, this matchup's probably awful for us. I do have a bunch of K commands, I guess. I guess. Thought Erasure definitely seems too slow. Mystic Dispute sounds great. Maybe Bonecrusher Giant isn't actually good enough here. They have pesky 1/3s. That's a lot of Kalitas. We don't want all of these. I'm gonna bring in some Negate. It counters Shrapnel Blast and it counters Scissors. Yeah, it counters Copter too when we're on the play. Might even be right to fit both Negated, honestly. If you kill the creature, they still have an equipment that's effective on the battlefield and assumes he has a deck around that, killing the 5/5. So basically, so you're positing that the equipment is worth more than the 1/3. And I think in a deck where, so basically this is a matchup where this is another kill all the things matchup. And even a 1/3 really matters in a deck like my opponent's where they have an incredible amount of reach. So essentially, I disagree with you that the equipment is better than their 1/3 because I think I need to keep the board clear at all times. And because I need to kill everything they play anyways, the equipment ultimately doesn't matter because I need to kill every creature they play anyways. No, Shrapnel Blast is their reach. If I kill all their creatures, their equipment doesn't do anything. They have Gingerbrute. They have Phyrexian Revoker. Anderson was streaming this deck last night. They have a few things that Bonecrusher kills. I know we had Bonecrusher last game, and they, had a 1-3 and it felt bad, but, you don't just, make bad changes, because, they had an instance where it felt bad. Sure, but, again, the people that are I should kill the 5-5 instead of the 1-3, instead of the equipment, killing, I can't beat... All right, so if I Murderous Rider this, they can't sacrifice it because it has no legal target. So I'm gonna do that now. It's gonna stop me from casting a spell. Hey, look, 3 different things in a row that died at Bonecrusher Giant. Weird how that works. Weird how that works. And this is where being familiar with what cards are being played in the format is really valuable, because I knew what cards my opponent's deck contained, I was able to board correctly even though I didn't see anything that Bonecrusher Giant was good against in that first game. So despite not seeing anything I really wanted the Bonecrusher Giant. I knew that was a card I wanted access to. I feel like this deck has too many win cons for a Corey Burkhart deck. Oh man, you know what card we could play in here? We were talking about cards that this deck could play over the Gearhulk. Maybe this deck wants some Nimble Obstructionist. I can see that. No, I don't think you want Tassiger. I think Dig Through Time's better than Tassiger. Is basically the you have to pick. You can't do both. Dig is better than Tassiger in my control deck for sure. I mean, your Obstructionist is never going to be worth money. Sorry to disappoint. It's never going to be worth money. I'm just going to dig at sorcery speed here, because their deck has Stubborn Denial post board, and I'd like to just not get soft stubbed. And honestly, they have 4 cards in their hand. I'm just going to attack them for 4 here with 4 lifelink. Didn't your mother ever teach you not to run with scissors, opponent? What if I shock this in and play Murderous Rider? I end up at 10. I think that's fine, because it puts them dead to this Bonecrusher Giant next turn, right? I don't think I can die from 10 here with an extra ground blocker. Again, don't be afraid to play your instance at sorcery speed. I think this card's super playable in this format, outside of the Devotion Shells even. Alright, so they're going to crew and block. I'll finish their blocker with my Bonecrusher Giant. They'll go to 4. And they should be far enough behind at that point that they can't come back, so we're going to gain 6 here. Lifelink Tribal confirmed good versus aggro, right? Yeah, it's probably better than Enforcer. The third point of toughness is really good in this format because there's no bolts in this format. I'm gonna trim an opt and a dig here. I think the card advantage at the top end is less important. I probably never want to draw 2 digs in a game. And like my adventure creatures already like some amount of card advantage. Opt's a fine trim when I'm dragging my curve down and I don't really have time to like spend mana on that type of effect in a matchup like this where they're beating me down. So probably don't ever want to draw 2 ops here either. 2 ops probably makes me mana inefficient enough that I lose most games. Yeah, great. Sign me up. Has Gearhulk been too mana intensive? I think so, Lord Aaron. Like, even the mid-range games where I, like, left it in, it didn't feel particularly good. It didn't feel necessary. Like, my opponent was conceding before it did anything. Mitsuto Raccoon, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Welcome to Hoaglandia. I appreciate you shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. So, we're dead. Zero respect for Fatal Push, super dead. Oh. Sometimes your control deck just dies, chat. Your answers don't line up well and it's done so. Yep. I just didn't need to have respect because their hand was great. That's gonna happen in every format of Magic, right? Like, Magic's a game where there's a lot of non-games. Sometimes you just die. Doesn't matter if it's Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy. There's games where you just, like, look at your opening hand and your opponent's hand is gonna be much better than yours. Ross Merriman posted that he had, like, 5-0'd, like, 3 leagues in a row with that deck. Hand can't cast Dreadbore yet, but it casts Erasure, Fatal Push, and Stomp, so it seems fine. Yeah, I think this is fine, Hider. Grizzly, thanks for the quarter of a year. Welcome back. To set a low bar, I think control decks are better in this format than they are in Modern. They're definitely better in this format than they are in Standard. Control's still unplayable. Hey, Dizzy. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Want to say I played at my LGS a small Pioneer event last night and went undefeated with the Blue-Green Eldrazi. Changes I made were adding some Silver Denial to the main board. Deck felt great. Sweet. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Well, I personally don't think Silver Denial is very good in that deck just because, like, you don't have, like, cheap... you don't have super cheap ways to turn it on. Is Fires playable in Pioneer? Maybe. I don't know. What are you doing in Pioneer that's different than what you're doing with it in Standard would be my question. Alright, I think I just want to Bonecrusher, stomp this Dorko. And then next turn we could Thought Erasure plus Fatal Push if they play a 1 or 2 drop. Are you ready? Bonecrusher's ready. Are those decks actually a problem though? Like I haven't played those decks enough to know like if that's an issue you like actually need to solve. All right, sweet. So we'll take Collected Company here. Murderous Rider. Huh? I think I'm actually binning that. This is kind of an like we're 4 for 4 on all Doomblades on deck matchup, which is like one of the reasons why we're doing okay here. I might keep this because like so my plan here is like Fatal Push the Land War Elf, then next turn they play this, and then I can Thought Erasure the Collected Company. I guess I wouldn't mind drawing a land so I can Erasure plus Dreadbore next turn. I'm gonna bin this. I do really want to hit my 4th land drop. Sure. Now hitting that land's a little bit less important, so I don't care about killing this as much. I would much rather Dreadbore their 4/4 rather than their sometimes 4/4. This actually doesn't really do anything, so let's bin that. Again, digging for a land. I'd love to hit an untapped red source next turn so I can go Dreadbore your 4/4 plus play Bonecrusher Giant as a blocker. That's vomit inducing. That's super. I don't know that this card's beatable. And like again, that's the problem with like trying to play a control deck, right? Like especially into an unknown format like Pioneer is right now. Like, and this is why. More importantly, like, I think if I were to play a controlling deck in this format, I think what's it called is ideal. I think playing the Approach the Second Sun deck is ideal. Because the Approach the Second Sun deck can just, like, win the game. Because it has a combo kill. Whereas, like, this deck has to answer all of its opponent's stuff. And our answers aren't always going to line up well. Is Vraska's Contempt not good enough? It could be, actually. In fact, it's funny. Before we started this, I actually mentioned Murderous Rider could be better as Downfall or Contempt. I could see those being cards worth playing in this format, in this deck. Yeah, Deck in Stone's also a great card. 10 out of 10 agree with that. This is indestructible and Death Touch, so not blocking there. This gives Trample and 2-0. I feel like that's just like kind of like the story of Modern. Like a bunch of people are like, I never realized how much X cards sucked until I just didn't have to deal with them anymore. So this is going to be a 7/4 here. So we're going to take 4 on this attack. Yeah, I think, and this is something I've been saying for years now, right? I think there's a lot of people who just have no interest in playing a format that rotates, but couldn't afford Legacy, and that made Modern their only option. And now that there's a real alternative for people, I think there's going to be people bailing out. I think this format is going to be very quickly become very successful and very popular. And our LGS, almost everyone's dropped Modern for Bioneer. Yep. It's going to be interesting to see what the cost of Modern staples look like. So I think there's just going to be a natural depression from people not interested in playing the format. I don't want to delve here. Definitely want to keep Drown. I have another K command in my hand. Okay. So I want a 6th land anyways, right? So I think I just get Kalitas 6th land here. Yep. One is not none. So I'm not just dead here, but I'm not in a stellar spot. So I get to Gearhulk, drown one of their creatures in the Loch, which makes a zombie for Kalitas. And then I can zombie chump this because it can't give itself trample, and then I double block the other one. And I have to double block because otherwise Rowanus will make it trample over. They drew a land for the turn. So, like, that's really good. We're definitely, like, in solidly not dead yet territory. I don't know, I wouldn't say we're in a good spot, but, like, you know, we could be worse off. We don't have Revolt, that's why we're going to drown in the Loch. No, yeah, I know things are tiny on your screens. So they can make this a 9, but I'm putting 10 toughness in front of it. So they don't get to kill both of these. Their thing dies. I gain 3. And then, like, I get another zombie here from this. That gives me another free chump block on this. Are they dead on the backswing? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, they're actually just dead on the backswing, huh? That's sick. Nice. Brazen Borrower. We talked about not being sure on him. The racing that he's provided has been very valuable. Gifted Aetherborn sounds great. Ritual of Soot sounds awesome against their Collected Company deck. Extra Kalitas seems fine. Murderous Rider seems fine. I think K-Command's actually a cut here. I don't think it kills. I don't think it kills most of their stuff. They didn't seem like they had artifacts. The Shock's not super useful. Bonecrusher's also not stellar. Let's bring in Nikki B. I think it's just like he's just an extra Doomblade here. I think I'd rather have Erasure than Thoughtseize in this matchup where my opponent is pressuring my life total. I can go either way. Let's split it 3-1. Let's Skyward split it. I'd be surprised if they have too many creatures that cost more than 3. They didn't cast them that game, but we did discard 2 Collected Companies that game. What are our win cons? Did you not see us just win a game? The cards that just killed our opponent are our win cons, creatures. Hey, thanks for the 13-month sec. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We are doing well. It is chilly. I drove Jake 3 houses to the bus stop this morning so he could sit in the car while we waited for the bus to get there. He's a little dude and he gets cold very quickly. This hand could be anything, chat. Yeah, this is probably a little bit medium of a keep on the draw. I don't know, we'll see. Does it walk 5 miles in the snow barefoot? He does not. It's been a while since I've seen that one. It's been a while. It's been a while since the old Witch Stalkers reared its ugly head. Emphasis on the ugly part. Whew! Is that a good one, chat? Was that a good one? What do we think? What do we think about that one? Moving on up. Do 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 do. Be do 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 do. It's rigged, but it's fine. Streamer luck confirmed busted. So they have Collision Colossus as their last card in their deck, in their hand. Kind of surprised they left that in. I guess they want to use it to like punch through our blockers. My parents never drove me to the bus stop because it was cold out, but to their credit, my school didn't have a bus and I grew up in Miami. Yeah. Yeah. Top of the library to ya. This pre-recorded content is great. Yeah, it's weird. Like, when I grew up in the Chicago suburbs where I grew up, like, nobody took the bus to school. And, like, here, most of the kids take the bus every day. Yeah, I don't know what the optimal black sweeper is in these decks. I like that Ritual of Soot doesn't kill my Kalitas. I think that's super appealing. That's why I've been leaning on that one. Yeah, his grade school is like a 10 to 15 minute drive. feels land war elves, man. Feels land war elves. Get swept, draw lands. All right, 3 and 1. Let's do it. Yeah, I think the 5-mana sweepers are too slow. I also feel like there's major upside to, like, having a sweeper that, like, doesn't kill Kalitas and doesn't kill Torrential Gearhulk. Yeah, it's really weird. We've played 4 matches of Magic now, and neither player has cast an Oko. Feels out of place. I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out here this morning, making us currently the highest average concurrent viewer count in the Magic game category on Twitch, playing on Magic's premier game client, Magic the Gathering Online. I've been playing Mono Red, Eldrazi Fires, and Free. That's interesting. It's a neat idea. Why must you do this? Listen, you all are the ones here watching, okay? Obviously, you all enjoy Magic's premier game client. The future of digital Magic, Magic the Gathering Online. Yep, hand's great. Ship it. It doesn't have a second blue source. It'll be fine. We'll draw a second blue source before we need to dig. Famous last words. We'll draw the blue source. I agree. I think the non-masterpiece Gearhulk looks a lot better. Concur with your takeaway. Ewok the Brave. Thank you for the 11 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Look at that. It's like we drew it up, chat. I couldn't tell if that was sarcastic. I mean, like, if you look at how the 2 clients are treated, it definitely feels like Moto's the premier play client. I mean, if I ask you the question, which client had a PTQ last week and which client has a PTQ tomorrow and has 5 different large tournaments I can play in this weekend, the only answer to that question is Magic the Gathering Online. And I was hoping that by the time Magic Arena was called a release, it would contain those features. But it's become abundantly clear to me the longer Arena has gone on that those things are not a priority. Yeah, I feel like I had a ton of optimism for Arena, and I feel like Wizards has thoroughly dropped the ball. It's not been properly leveraged and utilized, and I feel like if I want to play actual Magic, I have to play Magic Online. We might be getting Nexus. I don't know. Yeah, Arena feels like another Duels of the Planeswalkers. Hard to see what the priority is. Only updates that have happened lately is adding more cosp. Oh, wait. Yep, see? Figured it out. Cracked the code. I'm casting Ops at sorcery speed here because we could draw discard spells. So, like, if I drew a Thought Erasure or a Thoughtseize, I would want to cast it here. I feel both clients are atrocious. They both definitely have issues. Yeah, I agree. That's another thing. And you could even see it based on how they group things too. Magic Online is consistently grouped in with Paper Magic, and Magic Arena is just like off in the corner eating glue on its own. And it's just like, well, why can't Magic Arena eat glue with the rest of the class? Why is it all alone? Red Beard, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I stomped them and then played this Bonecrusher Giant here because I'm pretty sure they're playing Nexus, which this hand is awful against. So I expect to lose this first game. I think in 3, we have some okay tools here. I get to bring in six counter spells out of the sideboard, another Thoughtseize, but I think we're definitely going to be a dog in this matchup. Oh, look. They turned on my Fatal. They activated my trap card, chat. So, one of the reasons why I didn't include Jace Prince Prodigy, like I can talk about this in the wrap-up too, is that playing cards like Jace Prince Prodigy make you lose what is referred to as virtual card advantage, because Jace Prince Prodigy in my deck make my opponent's Fatal Pushes and Wild Slashes real Magic cards game 1 against me. By only playing these adventure creatures, these cards that gain value regardless, by doing that, my opponent is down cards just by virtue of their cards not having effective text against me. So I've elected not to play Jace because I don't want those removal spells out of my opponents to be better in the game 1s. Mark Yippee, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a great day wherever you are. I think I'm going to go ahead and dig, leaving 2 mana up here to try and hit a Drown in the Loch or a Thought Erasure here. And I know I have another dig, which kind of makes this feel bad, but if I find a discard spell, I want to play it here. Yeah. This is the recurring problem I have with Prince Prodigy and Modern. The solution is load up on must-answer creatures, but then you're not a control deck anymore. Completely agree. All right, well, you know. Fun fact, chat. Bonecrusher Giant Stomp prevents you from being fogged. So, if they have a fog next turn, they're still dead. Oh, I just punted. I think I should have Brazen Borrowered this. Although I guess holding Brazen Borrower lets me bounce a Wilderness Reclamation here, so maybe that's not wrong. They only have 7 lands here, right? So if they play Wilderness Rec, I can bounce it before they get the trigger. Yeah, I think this is fine, actually. Man, are we going to steal game 1 here? I think we're about to steal game 1. That's sick. I thought for sure we were dead to rights. Wow. Yeah, they don't have, even if they dig, they only have a colorless mana, right? Nice deck. Yeah, Brazen. We would have lost that game if that wasn't Brazen Borrower. 100% would have lost that game without Brazen Borrower. Yeah, honestly, I think I want a third copy of this card. After seeing some of these games play out. Probably just lead in. Leave in some Murderous Rider here. Kolaghan's command isn't very good. There's like a 2/3 that attacks. Seems good. I think I like this. They sometimes have Thing in the Ice game. They have Thing in the Ice in their deck, and they have like Tameo and stuff like that too. Yeah, I am 100% going to be adding a Pioneer section to my website. In fact, I'm going to be doing that this weekend. Okay, finally, I wanted to wait for the first bannings to happen before I did that, and that happened. So, I'm gonna send my art guy a message and start getting some banners done so I can get that put together this weekend. It just takes time and money to get those things put together. Mystic Dispute is great. Can I be your art guy? Nah, my art guy does good work and he works for pretty cheap, so... He does banners for like 10 or 15 bucks, I forget which, but it's a good deal. That one. Dispute is great, buy their stuff, right? Okay. Yep. This gate command doesn't do a lot, so I'm just going to shock them and make them discard a card here. Or we're going to negate that. Yeah, that'll work too. Veil Summer. Just negate, sure. This card might not be beatable. I don't know that we can beat this card in a long game. And by I don't think we can, I mean we can't. We can't beat this card in a long game. At least we didn't get 2 for 1, I guess. Yeah, Grixis and not being able to answer enchantments. Name a more iconic duo. Oko and Elks. Alright, punished. There are services that allow you to rent cards on Magic Online. I've never used them personally, so I don't know what exactly they entail. And this is the part of the game where, like, the Nexus matchup was pretty helpless in paper, too, right? Like, this is the point where, like, my opponent gets to flip their Search for Azcanta, and I have no pressure in play, so I effectively just am dead now at this point. Okay, sure. All right, that gives us a chance, right? Can maybe kill them. Yep, yep, yep. I guess we just Gearhulk negate that, right? That's fine. It's not a big deal. No big. We're the little Grixis that could, chat. The little Grixis that could. Oh man, Uggin's Nexus is legal in this format, isn't it? Yeah, we got him on a 4-turn clock here. I have a counter spell in hand, so like, you know. It's a darn shame they had the negate for a negate on their second Azcanta. Because we'd have been in this game if we'd have been able to counter that. Yikes. Things that don't get Disdainful Stroke for 100. How about another land, chat? Think another land helps us out? Can't interact with enchantments in Grixis. And then followed by Flooding and Dying. Looking forward to playing some Mythgard this afternoon. Looking forward to playing some Mythgard. Yeah, I'm actually super close to an airport, swag. Nah, Pioneer's great. I think it's just important to be able to, like, identify things that happen in Magic in general. These aren't Pioneer exclusive issues, right? Like, sometimes you're gonna flood and die. There's gonna be types of cards your deck just can't interact with on occasion. Like, these are features of Magic. They're part of the game. We've gone through 17 cards this game. 9 of them have been lands. Veil of Summer, yeah. Thank you, sir. May I have another? 8 mana Ugin. We could technically play Aether Gust, kinda, I guess. I'm gonna concede to a dig here. Because they have Veil of Summer in their hand. Close. Gearhulk almost got there. If we'd have had a couple more spells, Gearhulk might have pulled us through. I'm happy with how I sideboarded. Let's just draw a better mix of action this game. In. Punch you in the face, play a 3/1 flyer. Let's go. Let's go! Disruption into a clock, chat. Yeah, I want a third and maybe even a 4th Brazen Borrower in this deck. Not close. Yeah, in. I'm just flashing in. Brazen Borrower here, I think. Am I? Do I flash in Brazen Borrower or I just play Murderous Rider? I'm just gonna flash in Borrower. I'm doing this in response because I don't want to get like, what's it called? I don't want to get, Mystic Disruption, Mystic Disputed, whatever it's called. Why you keep hitting yourself? Why you keep hitting yourself? We're gonna get Veil of Summered. There's vomit everywhere. Supreme Will, Nexus of Fate. I just take both their Supreme Wills, right? All right. Slow and steady. We're playing 25. As always, you can find the deck list by typing !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck. Should also be on the overlay. Did you dig through time? Sounds right. There aren't that many good counterspells in Pioneer. What are you talking about? Veil of Summer is the best counterspell ever printed. That card's in Pioneer. He's got two thumbs and excited to get Veil of Summered. This guy right here. Holy crap, that worked. God bless us, everyone. Genesis Pro Tech, thanks for the 13 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. It's a good draw. Veil is Modern's Reb, would you agree? No. Reb's not a 2-for-1 AGH. And Reb impacts the board. Veil does not. So those cards are fundamentally different in two different ways. I mean, to be fair, all their deck does is, like, draw cards. So, like, the fact that they're seeing a bunch of actions, like, not that unreasonable. The problem here is they get to blow up this blast zone here, and then my clock is gone. Am I holding Rider for a Planeswalker? I'm holding Rider because they have Blast Zone in play that they're ticking to 3. That's why I'm holding Rider. Yeah, I'm just supposed to let that happen. Yeah, I'm probably just supposed to let that happen. Like, save that for a Wilderness Wreck. Hey, Doubt. Yeah, not planning to stop anytime soon. I appreciate the support. Thanks for keeping me around. Man, where's a Bonecrusher Giant when you need one? I guess if I would have played this out, it would have forced the game to go differently here. Feels bad, man. Yeah, not only do we have to, like, fade, but, like, they get to like, flip their search this turn, and then we're probably dead. Okay, now for the Are We Dead Yet question. I have 1 K command and 4 Bonecrushers in my deck, and I have 3 dig through times to try and find them. Please? Magic's just such an incredibly anticlimactic game most of the time. It's like, well, we played well, we made good decisions, and then we drew 3 lands in a row. And then we drew 3 lands in a row. Should I play out the Rider? Should I? We think I should play out the Rider? I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe you could argue I'm supposed to play it out earlier, but like if I play it out earlier, they could just prioritize using the Blast Zone sooner. Then like they probably end up at a higher life total. So hopefully we just like dig into Bonecrusher or rip Bonecrusher and kill them. Alright, fine. I'll be surprised if we get another turn, but yeah, I'm not saying we're exceptionally unlucky. I'm stating what happened, and it's part of Magic. Like, if there was critical analysis of I could have made these decisions differently to impact the outcome of this game, sometimes that's the case. But also, sometimes you just draw 3 lands in a row and die. Like, that's just how Magic works. They did whiff on an Askant activation, but then they looked at 4 more cards there. I mean, we got real close. If we'd have had, you know, a Stomp, a Bonecrusher Giant in our top third of our deck, they'd have died. I don't even know if it's that bad for us with like all the adventure creatures. Like we flooded 2 turns in a row. Or 2 games in a row, we flooded out. It's our opponent's actual win con, doesn't matter. I'm going to concede if they take another turn this turn. So, pretty likely that they have another Nexus, and I'm going to concede if they do. Because they just get to... For people that didn't experience this when it was in Standard, adds Canto the Sunken Rune here alongside Wilderness Reclamation. Lets them keep activating this to dig deeper and deeper into their deck. The odds of them not having an extra turn spell here are low. And Nexus of Fate is an instant that shuffles back into your deck for some god-awful reason. Mr. Senpai Mike, thanks for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. Hope you're having a better Thursday than we are. Yeah, I don't know. Nexus of Fate, Wilderness Reclamation, these cards like also got past play design, so like that plus Oko, I don't know. I have very little faith in what they're doing. No, I'm not gonna sit here for 10 minutes. If they hit with the Tamiyo, I'm gonna concede. Okay, because then they get 8 looks per turn, and 8 looks is plenty. Yeah, they literally thought Nexus of Fate would be unplayable. The buy a box promo cards were intended to not be constructed playable cards. So the people balancing Nexus of Fate did not think that it was standard playable. I think the tap lands are too much of a downside. That's why I'm not playing them. Yeah, they also thought Kenrith was unplayable. Oh, they picked up Dig Through Time. Sure. Yeah. Why not? Hey, show me the Nexus so I can concede. 12 looks. You forgot their draw step. So close and yet so far away. Yeah, we 3-2'd. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I'd play a control deck like this in this format. I think there's too many... It's similar to Modern in that, like, there's too many weird, wacky, and wild things in the format. I think if you were to play this, you would want to more aggressively slant it rather than being so dirtily. So I think the Torrential Gearhulks were really bad. Even the games where they were kind of okay, they felt unnecessary. Brazen Borrower was quite stellar. So I think honestly, like, I would go up to 4 of this card. This gives us a threat that's proactive that also buys us a little bit of time on occasion. So, like, between Borrower and Bonecrusher Giant, like, we give ourselves something resembling a chance in matches like the Nexus of Fate matchup. Like, we stole game 1 on the back of, like, drawing a couple copies of this and, like, beating them down. So, basically, I don't think the Dirtle do-nothing control decks are good in this format. Like in general, Dirtle do-nothing control decks tend to not be good in Magic. And it applies in this format as well. So, like, if I was interested in doing this, I would want to have something more aggressively slanted, at least by starting with Brazen Borrower. And if I were to play something like Blue-White Control, I would definitely prefer to play with Approach to the Second Sun, so you have that kind of combo-esque finish. So, like, have some kind of plan in your control deck to actually end the game, because the tools you have to be answering all of their stuff just aren't good enough to be doing that consistently. All right. We've got 3 more Pioneer decks coming up here today still. We're going to dive into some Soul Flare here up next. Before we do that, I'm going to roll a quick ad and get all of our deck list stuff updated on the plugin. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.